What was it that the Good Samaritan saw in this wounded man that moved him to compassion? Why didn't the priest and the Levite see the same thing? Brothers and sisters, the parable of the Good Samaritan invites us to see human suffering, to act, to ameliorate human suffering, and to see every human being as our neighbor. For we all belong to one family, the family of God. Martin Luther King Jr., reflecting on this parable, said that the priest and the Levite, they walked by on the opposite side because both of them were asking this question: what will happen to us if we step down to help this man? The Good Samaritan asked the other question: what will happen to this man if I do not step down to help him? He will die. He will bleed to death and be eaten up by wild animals. What will happen to his family? But the priest and the Levite, they were concerned with ritual purity. They were going to the temple to offer sacrifice. And they forgot that the God to whom they were going to offer the sacrifice is the God who says, whatsoever you do to the least of my brethren, that you do unto me. They were more concerned with keeping external laws than living the spirit of the law. And the spirit of the law of God is the law of love. The Good Samaritan saw in this man himself. Like my people in Igbo land say, Mado buchi beya. For God manifests God's self to us through other people. Mother Teresa said that our hands are now the hands of God. For God no longer has the hand to heal, to restore. Our legs are the legs of God to visit the sick. We are the presence of God in the world. The Good Samaritan, he didn't simply show pity. Yes, he was moved to compassion because he saw in this man himself. He saw in this man his own family. And he made the man wounded and treated him like one would treat one's family. Sometimes we see suffering and we are moved. What we see on television, we feel bad, we feel sad, but we do nothing. He did not only feel compassion, he did something. He stepped down from his mule. He approached the man. Yes, perhaps the priest and the Levite, they were also concerned about their own safety. They don't know if this was a booby trap. They don't know if the armed robbers are somewhere there. So, they cared about themselves. what will happen to me? The Good Samaritan did not care about himself. There is some kind of recklessness in what the Good Samaritan did, which I think is also true. Authentic love, Christian compassion, the thing that Jesus did for us on the cross, is reckless to throw away his life, to throw caution to the wind. He didn't care about himself anymore. This Good Samaritan, he cared only, how can I help this man to live? He stepped down, approached him, poured oil and wine, and then there is an exchange that takes place. He carries this man. You see the weight. One man, so deep, so strong was his desire to help this wounded man. He lifted him onto his mule. That was really someone who really wanted to help. Because sometimes, when you think of the challenge or challenges of changing the world, you feel it's going to overwhelm you. You feel you are nothing. Oh, I can't do much. The problem is so much. The suffering. We feel so little. This Good Samaritan did not feel little. He felt great, because love makes you great, because love moves your heart to do great things for God and for others. And he lifted this man onto his mule. He took him to the inn. He was interrupted, or allowed another person's pain and suffering to interrupt his journey. Human suffering should interrupt us, make us pause. We are moving to this or that, our business, our work, and then we don't often pay attention to what the suffering, the sea of human suffering around us. This man's journey was interrupted. It was no longer that business trip that concerned him. It's about the rescue mission of saving a life. He stayed the night, cared for this man. And then the next morning, it's not like cut and run. No, he said, he paid for this man's bills, hospital bills, and said, I will come back to make sure to check on him and pay whatever remains. In this, he answered that question, who is my neighbor? Because he made the wounded man, the dying man, a member of his family. He assumed responsibility for his care. He assumed responsibility for his debt, and he paid it all. So who is your neighbor? The one who needs you. Who is your neighbor? The one who is suffering. The one who is hungry. The one who is dying. The one who is grieving. The one who feels lonely. The one who is wounded. Anyone in need of your love is your neighbor. And every human being is in need of your love, just as you too are also in need of other people's love. So what Jesus is saying here is that we are one family. The pain and tragedy of life for so many people today should become our own concern, our own pain, and should move us to compassion and to action. But when you look deeper into this parable, you see, Jesus was teaching us about himself. Like we hear in the second reading, he is the image of the invisible God. In a sense, Jesus is that wounded man, but also Jesus is that Good Samaritan who saw us wounded by sin, who saw us abandoned to our own ways and stepped into the chaos of our humanity in order to lift us up. The first reading says, the law of God is in our heart, is in you, the love to care, is in you to show compassion. Let us go out and heal the world by our love, our compassion, and our presence, especially in the moments and in the lives of so many people who are suffering in the world today. May Jesus give us the heart of the Good Samaritan, and may we see in the suffering of others our own pain. And may each and every one of us, when we are down and out, may that Good Samaritan send help our way. For we all, like that song says, sometime in our lives, we all have pain. We have sorrow. We need someone to lean on. May your shoulders be that someone on whom the suffering and those who are devastated by pain will lean on. Amen.